Should I do something with the, like this is my hat. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're here. Probably a flower in my head. We're here to do a donut recipe. I wanted to post this video for National Donut Day this just past week. I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but it just happened. And I tried so many recipes and one of them was too greasy. The other one didn't raise at all. It was like a flat little piece of bread. And this one is gonna be perfect because I'm using Cupcake Jemma's YouTube recipe. And if you haven't followed her yet, you need to go because she is adorable and just posts really good content, like consistently. So without further ado, let us begin. We're gonna start with melting our fat. I have butter here and vegetable shortening, the vegan kind. It has some really good nutrition facts. You know, fat's so good for you now. Ketogenic diet is the hot new trend. We'll see how long that lasts. I have some almond milk here that I just warmed up on the stove, and that's going to be added to our vegetable shortening and butter. Just melt that all down. So we'll set that aside and let it cool because it can't be too hot when you add it to everything with the yeast. It'll kill the yeast completely. I'm gonna post in the description box below the proper temperature that you need to have this at in order to activate the yeast. So it can't be too hot and it can't be too cold. So I have 3 teaspoons of instant yeast. We're just gonna add that quickly to our water. Give it a quick mix. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit and get frothy on the top. So our yeast is activated. It's really nice and frothy and you can see bubbles on the side of the jar. That means it is ready to go. So we're just gonna add it to the fat. And then after that, we are going to add our sugar, fresh nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon, pinch of salt. And if you have a stand mixer at home, this works really well in there, but I haven't decided to invest in that yet. So we are gonna be old school. So this is with just half of the flour added. We're just gonna try and make it kind of smooth. Almost forgot to add the baking powder to the flour, so I just added a little bit to that. The only thing with Cupcake Jemma's recipe is that she used 2 eggs because she's not vegan, so I'm trying to adapt her recipe. We're gonna do it with baking powder. And I will let you know how that works. I think it's going to be brilliant. Confidence is key. Okay, so we just added the rest of the flour and I'm gonna mix this. Don't go crazy here. If you have a stand mixer at home or an electric mixer, just put it on low until it's incorporated, and then you will put it to medium speed after that to bring everything together. What I'm gonna have to do is end up kneading this since I don't have those devices. I'm gonna turn this out onto my work surface with some flour. With some clean hands, we're going to just knead this. So if you are in the broke AF category like me, this is probably the method you can adapt at home. I'm a firm believer in making things work for you. Whatever situation you got going on, girl. Okay, so lightly oil your bowl and then we're gonna set that to rise for an hour. Just gonna drape a loose kitchen towel over the top of it, or you could do some cling wrap. and set it in a nice and warm spot to double in size. All right, so I'll see you back here quite shortly. And the time has come. Our beautiful dough has risen double the size. So without further ado, we are going to roll this puppy out and roll it out to 3/8 inch. Flour your rolling pin. I'm just using the little lid part of a mason jar lid to punch out the hole. For the center of these, you can stick your thumb through it and just make a hole. Okay guys, so after you set up your donuts onto an oiled or floured baking sheet, we're just gonna cover it again and let it rise till it puffs up a lot in a draft-free spot. So it can be like close to an oven or just live in Florida where it's hot all the time. So I'll see you guys back here in a minute. So I'm just gonna heat up the oil for frying these guys. While that's heating up, we're gonna make our glaze. I'm gonna just do a simple vanilla glaze because that's delicious and it's classy AF. So we're just gonna split this down the center and then pry it open. And inside is those tiny little black seeds, or beans, you can call it a vanilla bean. I'm gonna do that a few times to get a little bit more. I'm just gonna gradually add a little bit of each. Mix that up with the vanilla beans. Wake them up a little bit. And add a few tablespoons of milk at a time. Just do like 2 at a time. You don't want it to get too liquidy and then you have to add a ton of powdered sugar. Just whisk it up. I go for a really thick glaze like the ones you see at Dunkin' Donuts. So I don't have a thermometer for my oil, but I do a test with a chopstick end. I learned this from Mary's Vegan Kitchen. You just stick the chopstick in, and if the bubbles are coming up from the bottom where the stick is, you can see a little bit and it's not bubbling like crazy, then that means that it's ready. But if you have a thermometer, candy thermometer, just make sure it's at 375 degrees. Just be really careful when you put your donuts in that you don't plop them in and spew hot oil on you, because you don't want to have to go to the hospital and explain that you didn't know how to drop a donut into oil. And then you just let that sit in there for 2 minutes on each side. Okay, so 2 minutes is up. We're just going to check it. We're gonna just set that off to the side to cool down. It's got a nice little pinkish, beigeish color to it. You can see on the side here, the second time it rose, it gets those little air bubbles over here, and it's nice and fluffy. Okay, so our donuts are done. They look gorgeous. They're golden, nice and pretty. We're just gonna glaze them and then eat the crap out of all of them. So this is the easiest part. You take the donut, you put the donut top side into the glaze. Let it drip off. And obviously if you want like a thicker coverage, You just let it dry a little bit and then dunk it a second or third time, depending on how much glaze you want. And then that's it. Let it sit. If you have a cooling rack, you can do this over a cooling rack, and then all of the glaze will just drip down. But I don't really think it's necessary if you let it kind of drip into the bowl afterwards. You guys, I can see all of the vanilla bean in this glaze and it looks gorgeous. It kind of has that like cookies and cream look to it. These look beautiful, but the real proof is in the taste. So we're gonna give this guy a try. They do feel a little heavier, and that's probably because I hand mixed it. I think it would definitely benefit whoever has a stand mixer to just use that instead of hand mixing. Okay, but I'm not mad at it. It was really good. It's actually not too dense. I thought it would be because they felt really heavy, but it's a really good recipe. It's still super moist in the center and it's light. It's delicious. So yeah, I'm gonna have the full recipe in my description box, and then I'll also put a link to Cupcake Jemma's recipe so you guys can reference hers if you don't want a vegan version. But it's really good. So yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and comment below if you want to see any other type of sweet treat videos. Bye! I'm gonna go eat these. It's so good. I just want to eat it.